A polynomial is any expression that is a sum or difference of powers of x which may or may not have coefficients in front of them. That might sound a little confusing, so let's take a look at a few examples and then I'll give the official mathematical definition. So here are some examples. We've got 3x cubed minus 5x squared plus x minus 1/2. So a combination of powers of x, possibly multiplied by something out in front like 3 or -5, all added or summed together. 2x squared plus 7, again just another combination of numbers and powers of x. And this number here is actually a power of x if you think of a power of x as x to the 0, which is 1. Next up we've got -3/2 x to the 4th plus x minus 13. Again, just a sum or difference of powers of x, possibly multiplied by a number out in front. And then down here, this is just an example to show you that a polynomial doesn't necessarily have to be stepping down in power as you move down the line here. We have x plus 3x cubed minus 7x to the 6th. That's also considered a polynomial. Just in more general cases, we're going to see the highest power being first. Okay, so let's look at some things that aren't polynomials, and then we'll give the definition of a polynomial. All of these three expressions here are not polynomials. In this first one, we have a square root of x. We want to avoid fractional exponents. This next one, we have 2 to the x minus 13 plus 4x. We want to avoid also x being in any exponent spot. That's going to disqualify it from being a polynomial. Also, 2x plus 1 divided by x minus 3. We want to avoid dividing by any variables as well. So we need to make sure that all our powers of x are either 0 or positive. Power of x is 0, remember x to the 0 is just 1, so you'll just be looking at a number. All right, so let's give the official mathematical definition of a polynomial. So a polynomial is anything in this form, an times x to the n plus an minus 1 times x to the n minus 1 plus all of your descending powers until you get down to a1x plus a0. Now, an through a0, all these a terms in front, those are our coefficients, and those are given real numbers. Okay? Next, your exponents. You need to start with n as an integer greater than or equal to 1. If you start with an integer equal to 0, you're just talking about a number, which we just call a number, a constant. Now, keep in mind, just because this is written in the form n minus 1, and descending, that doesn't mean that your polynomial has to be something that looks like this, where we have x cubed plus 2x squared plus x plus 1. Sure, they're all descending powers of x, but you can also skip over powers. Your polynomial isn't required to have an exponent less than the first term. So we could have x cubed plus x plus 1. We could have x to the 4th plus x plus 1. So you don't need to have everything in the middle. You just need to have this first term. So remember, these are some things that break something being a polynomial. These are just a few of them. If you have x as an exponent, or if you have a square root of x, cube root of x, 4th root of x, and also if you're dividing by any variables or any expression of variables, that's going to disqualify whatever you have from being a polynomial. A polynomial, remember, is just a sum or difference of powers of x and possibly a constant term that have coefficients in front of each power of x. Okay?